YouTube? This is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and week 5 of the NFL is just about here, and I wanted to get you guys some players you should consider grabbing for your waiver wire right before anybody else can. So again, these are some players that I think will be helpful, whether it be fulfilling injuries that have happened over the weekend, or of course bye weeks are starting to happen. So I wanted to make sure this is out here for you guys right away. Now the first player I want to mention is going to be in the quarterback position. I've got Sam Darnold. Like Sam Darnold, at this point, Sam Darnold needs to be on your roster. He is still available in 45% of the leagues. He's going against the Jets this week, which is a little bit tough, but right now Sam Darnold's quarterback 5 currently in fantasy. He's averaging 19.6 points a game and leading the league with 11 passing touchdowns. Yes, the tough matchup against the Jets is there for week 5. And he does have a bye week in week 6. So you do have to kind of figure out the quarterback position after that. But realistically, he's available. Like, why are you not even considering putting him on your roster? Doesn't make any sense. He is starting to prove that week in and week out that he deserves to be on someone's roster. And if he's out there, I would stash him, even if you don't plan on starting him. Another quarterback that I'm going to mention, guess what? Fields. He's available in your league. Justin Fields is currently quarterback 6 in fantasy at the moment, and I bet you didn't know that. And I get it. Justin Fields obviously hasn't been super impressive, but he did have an amazing game in week 4. Now, week 3, he had 19 fantasy points, and in week 4, he just finished with 31 points, over 300 passing yards, which is something that Fields has never really been truly known for. The offense is slowly coming to him, and I think at this point, his rushing ability upside isn't always there, but it's always something to consider. And he definitely has taken this job from Russell Wilson. Like, at this point, there is no Russell Wilson starting, unfortunately. And I think he could easily be traded to a team that might need a quarterback. But Justin Fields, quarterback 6 right now, should be rostered a lot more. He's available out there. Again, 69% of leagues he's available. So if you need a quarterback to play this week, whether you're filling a bye week or just injuries, consider putting him there. Now, jumping into the running back position, I've got Chase Brown as my first running back to mention. He's available in 39% of leagues. He's going against the Baltimore Ravens this week, and Chase Brown just finished a strong week 4 performance. He had 80 yards on the ground and 2 rushing touchdowns, finishing the week with 23 points. Now, Brown saw an increase in snap share, finishing with 40% in week 4. Previous weeks, he was averaging about 28%. So there's a sign that obviously Chase Brown is starting to get more and more trust from the coaching staff. And I think also if the Bengals continue to have some unfortunate success where they're not winning, they're not having the games that they're hoping, there's a good chance that I think Cincinnati may actually start utilizing Chase Brown a lot more, kind of seeing what the younger players are doing, and that may obviously affect Zach Moss. But I talked about Chase Brown off season. He did not start the season where I thought he was going to, but he's starting to slowly get it, and he's starting to have some good games, and that may make a big difference. Another running back I'm going to mention, which is going to be a little bit harder to get, is going to be Chuba Hubbard. He's only available in 22% of leagues, so the likelihood of him being available probably isn't there. But if he is, you should be rostering him. There's no reason not to. I had mentioned him obviously last week, and at this point, he's had another great game, especially ever since Andy Dalton has come in for the Carolina Panthers. He finished with week 4 with over 22 fantasy points. In 2 weeks in a row, he's finished with over 100 rushing yards. He's averaging 5.4 yards a carry, and he's averaging 15.8 points a game. The only concern that I have with Chuba Hubbard is Carolina going to introduce Jonathan Brooks at some point? Like, he has the ability to get off the pup soon. This is kind of the weeks that they're considering putting him in as far as practice and kind of seeing where he's at before he starts actually regular season games. I would like, as much as I do like Jonathan Brooks and I have him in a few rosters, I would like it to be Chuba Hubbard as far as the starting running back. I think he's deserved it. This is his last season essentially with the Panthers, so he's kind of having that type of career where he has maybe a chance to obviously make some money this offseason. Now, another running back I want to mention is going to be Kareem Hunt for the Chiefs. He's available in 65% of leagues. They have the Saints this week in week 5. Hunt's first game for the Chiefs, he had a 45% snap share and finished with over 10 points in fantasy. He had 14 carries. He looked pretty good, obviously coming off the street, without having a real off season and things like that. with Carson Steele having a fumble issue and he's kind of getting into the doghouse, I know they still like him, but I think at this point, Kareem Hunt's going to probably take over this backfield. Now, it's still a backfield I'm kind of scared to touch because obviously Perrine still had some red zone activity, had a touchdown. So it's really kind of I'm really not sure how it's going to really roster, but I will say if you need a running back or if you're in a deeper league, Kareem Hunt should absolutely be considered. And the last running back I'm going to mention just because of injuries is Trey Sermon for the Colts. He's available in 99% of leagues, which is completely understandable. They've got Jacksonville this week, but Jonathan Taylor could miss some time due to his high ankle sprain that could take him out for a couple weeks. So Trey Sermon is definitely a running back that you really need to consider, especially if you're in a deeper league or if you have Jonathan Taylor on your bench, because again, he should be rostered just because of the injury fill. I'm not sure how they're going to utilize Trey Sermon if he does get the start. I'm assuming probably most of the snaps and touches, but again, I had to mention him as a running back to grab. Now, speaking of the Colts, as far as wide receiver, I've got Josh Downs as a good pickup this week. He's available in 80% of leagues. He's going against, again, like I mentioned, the Jaguars. Downs had a solid outing with Flacco at quarterback. He finished with 22 points, had 9 receptions, 80 yards. Now, Downs did miss week 1 and 2. So he's kind of being eased back into the season so far. He had a great season in 2023, and obviously that's what we were hoping to see in 2024. Now, the quarterback play is obviously going to be a big factor. We're not sure if Richardson's coming in this week. They're monitoring the injury. They say that it's not a big issue where he can't come back. Obviously, I think Joe Flacco is a better quarterback than Anthony Richardson, but I do believe that he is their future, and they want to kind of utilize him as much as they can. So we'll see how things play out with that. But Josh Downs is definitely someone to monitor. Or, again, if you're in deeper leagues, you should be stashing for sure. Another receiver I like for a big pickup is going to be Wan'Dale Robinson. 74% availability in leagues right now. They've got the Seahawks in week 5. Wan'Dale definitely has been a target hog alongside Malik Neighbors. Like, the offense really is relying on those two guys. I mean, Singletary's had some plays and Hyatt maybe every once in a while, but it's not as big as you would think. So Robinson's definitely been amazing. He had 11 receptions against Dallas, and he's seeing an average of 9 targets a game so far. And right now he's wide receiver 20 in the season. So he's a good wide receiver too that should be rostered. And if Neighbor does miss this game due to concussion, which I think he's going to play because they're going to have 10 days to kind of rest. But if he does miss, Robinson is still a great target hog. And again, a good play for going into week 5. Another receiver I like as a good consider and add-on is going to be Trey Tucker this week. Look, he's available in 91% of leagues going against the Denver Broncos. So that is a little bit of a tough matchup. But Tucker has been great in the last 2 weeks. He's averaged 19 points a game. He's seeing 15 targets as well in those 2 games. And with Devontae Adams expected to miss another game or so, Tucker definitely can continue that success. He's definitely going to be somebody that's getting a lot of opportunities because Jacoby Myers gets obviously targeted as the wide receiver 1. Obviously, Bowers is still there, and I like him a lot. But right now, Tucker's been amazing for the Raiders, and I think he has some continuation. And who knows? There's a possibility that maybe Devontae Adams gets traded. Maybe this is it. Like, he's out because not only is he obviously dealing with an injury, but maybe he's out because they want to make sure he's healthy when they do trade him. So there's a good chance that Tucker might end up being the wide receiver 2 really the rest of the season. And again, a really nice little solid play for the rest of this year. And the last receiver I'm going to mention is Dontavian Wicks for the Green Bay Packers. And I'm not jumping on this just because of the one game. I think Wicks is starting to develop a little bit of a relationship with Love, and I think Love absolutely loves throwing him the ball, and Love being back has been a big difference. Wicks had a great week 4, finishing with over 24 points and saw 13 targets. Now, he only converted them to 5 receptions, which is not great. But the fact is, Jordan Love threw to him 13 times, which was amazing, and that's something that he obviously saw great. Red zone, he had 2 touchdowns. So it's, again, a big deal. Now, I still think Jayden Reed's the best one, and Jayden Reed, I think, right now is currently wide receiver 4 for the season, which is crazy to me. But I do like Dontavian Wicks because with Christian Watson leaving that game and now possibly out for a few weeks, Wicks becomes, I think, the number 2 target behind Reed. I know there's Romeo Doubs, and I like Doubs, but I think Wicks becomes the number 2. And again, just because of his big playability, I think deeper leagues, or again, if you've got, a lot of, maybe you're just looking for an upside play, I think Wicks is a nice little add-on. And the last player I'm going to mention, which is going to be the tight end position, is Tucker Kraft for the Green Bay Packers as well. Again, going against the Rams this week, he's available in 96% of leagues. Having Love back absolutely helps. Now, the tight end position is tough to figure out week in and week out, but Kraft could be a solid streamer this week if needed. Rams haven't been great against the tight end, and he just put up 17 points last week and saw 9 targets. He seems to be the favorite tight end over Musgrave, and right now, with him being currently tight end 11, there's a chance he's worth the stash. You got some tight ends that have been hurt. You've got tight ends that are going into a bye week. Like, again, Kraft might be a nice little streaming tight end for this week. So, again, that is my last player I'm going to mention. Now, of course, if there's some changes, I'll add some in the comments, because by the time I recorded this, Monday night week has not happened as far as the 2 games. So we'll see if any injuries. Hopefully everybody's healthy. But again, that's my week 5 waivers. I wanted to get that out early for you guys to help you guys out. If you guys have questions of who you should pick up, or maybe you're starting to do some trades, hit me up in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll check you guys out next time.